The Jenn Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, is an inspirational hour that'll take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jenn Royster is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Imagine having the ability to use your innate positive energy to dissolve the stuckness in your life, whether it's emotional, physical, or spiritual, through this incredible dynamic show. Get ready to be transformed from Dr. Jenn's live guided healing meditations and intuitive readings, and unveil the power of connecting to spirit, the angels, and your higher self. Dr. Jenn is passionate about helping you find the answers you're looking for through an inward journey that'll strengthen your connection to spirit and help you trust your intuition. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jenn Royster.
Hello everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Dr. Jenn, and today is December 16th, and we're going to talk about this heart chakra and healing tips and why this is so important right now during a Venus retrograde that is going to begin on December 19th in just a couple of days. Last week we had all about what was going on with tomorrow's date, so there's a lot going on in December. Of course, it's been every month going on, but if you have missed an archive show, you can always go catch those. Of course, they're always in the playlist. But I want to focus on the heart chakra and the healing. And we're going to talk about energy healing today. We're going to focus on how you can feel empowered to do something about healing your own heart chakra and balancing it. And why are we worrying about this? We're not worrying, but it comes across that way sometimes to us because of the Venus retrograde. We're going to go over why. Because Venus retrograde is going to bring up a lot of heart-centered issues. Anything that's important or of value to you. And that's a lot to do with love, relationships, and that includes romantic, business, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your finances or money, your relationship with friends, your relationship pretty much with earth, with health. What is your relationship with all these different aspects of being here in this world? And it's going to bring some things up. Now, we haven't had one of these Venus retrogrades for a bit because they only happen every 18 months. So that's a year and a half ago. And this one will go from December 19 to January 28. So we've got a good month of feeling this one. It's going to feel, you're going to feel this one because it's when you're dealing with the heart chakra, and that is the fourth chakra. It's one of the fourth major of the seven. So they run all the way up and down your spine, and this is more about the energy and how we process our energy. And heart chakras are all about everything heart-centered choices. They consider that one of the brains of our body, actually bigger than the brain in your head, and you can go and look up that research data. It's interesting. But when we make choices from the heart, we're passionate about them. It's very connected to what your soul purpose is, because your passions are connected to your soul purpose. And a lot of people are always searching for, what is my soul purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? It's not always career-based. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's literally different, completely different. But when you're tapped in and you have that balance in your heart chakra, and the goal is to have all of your chakras balanced equally, not one more than the other. We're focusing on one of them today and why this will be an interesting timeline with the Venus retrograde. So, a few things here. It's a Capricorn retrograde for Venus. And Capricorn is serious-minded. This is going to bring matters and focus them on your responsibility in your relationship to all those different aspects of your life that we were just talking about a minute ago. You're taking responsibility, being responsible in them. And you're like, whoa, that's a lot, right? But, if you think about it, we get so busy and we go, and are we being accountable? Are we being responsible for, the different things that are happening with those relationships? It really does take us back to here, heart-centered, working with yourself more than blaming someone else, because that's for them to do. And so this is going to take it into a different aspect. It's a very good time for healing, very good time for healing. And so I really like this one. This just feels like it resonates, it's natural. It brings a lot of peace to me, because I know that I am in my purpose sharing stuff like this. Because when we look at energy healing is all about using the energy of love, energy that is divine love, that is unconditional love, that is the most powerful healing energy there is. That is the most powerful energy there is, period. Honestly, when you look at things this way from a spiritual aspect. And you know, when we're looking at our relationship with ourselves, how are you? I mean, is there a self-love that's balanced and healthy? Do you feel worthy? Do you feel worthy to open your heart to heal it? Are you afraid to open your heart and heal it if you've been hurt before? All of these things happen to I can't imagine anybody that it hasn't happened to, because a lot of things happen living here on Earth. So we're going to talk about this a little bit. It's going to be a show that you will feel emotions with, because we process emotions with our heart chakra. And we're going to tap into these different aspects on the relationship between all of these. So I do want to welcome everyone that is joining us live for the show. We have the YouTube live channel going with our chat. So hello to everyone that is there. So let me say a quick hello to everyone quickly. Then I'm going to dive into some things here. Then we'll go back and take questions in the chat. So I wanted to welcome everyone that is showing up already. We have Belinda, Michelle, Maddie, hello. Journey to Becoming Me, yay, it's good to see you. And oh my goodness, thank you so much. We have a super chat blessing. That always touches my heart, you guys, when you support the show, because we do it anyway, but it means a lot to me, and I have huge gratitude. So thank you so much for that blessing and that donation to the show. We're going to come back to that chat. So what I want to do is put some of this information out here for you guys, so you can relate, and then you'll know how to ask your questions better, really, depending on this and how it might be affecting you. So we will get back to that. So first of all, let's talk about Venus a little bit. Let's talk about Venus. I mean, Venus is represented by, you know, the love goddess, of course. And it's one of the brightest stars in the night sky. So when you have Venus that appears in the evening, you can see that one. So they would call it the evening star Venus. Ancient astrologers did that. And then it would drop and go down below the horizon. And that's considered the morning star Venus. So you have the evening one and you have the morning. And that's just kind of interesting as an astrological information there. So there's a transition that happens with Venus in astrology from being an evening to a morning star. And that's the death rebirth. That's the shift. That's the transition that it represents. So when Venus leaves the night sky, it's leaving just to be reborn in the light of the sun. So it's a big transitional time. It's kind of interesting. So things might pop up on what you need to change or restructure or rebirth there. And Venus also represents our heart. So here we got the heart chakra again, right? And Venus represents the ability to love and be loved and be in relationships and be responsible for those relationships would be the Capricorn part. So all these areas, they're up for rebirthing when Venus goes into that morning star. And this is a metamorphosis going from the evening to the morning. So that's what that represents in the sky. And it's an 18-month metamorphosis journey. It's a year and a half, long time. So if you think back a year and a half, that was the last time we had one of these. And it might, if you're good at journaling or keeping track of where you've been and where you're going, you can see what was going on for you then. Doesn't necessarily mean it'll be the same thing this time, but it could be related. So when Venus enters this phase, it's known as a retrograde. This is what it means for Venus to be in retrograde, going from night to morning. Now, It's also called, she's going between the states. She's moving. She's shifting and going what is sometimes called the underworld, because we're going down and under to be rebirthed. So it's symbolic, okay? So when Venus enters this underworld, so to speak, that will happen on December 19th, in a couple of days. And in Capricorn, so that means then she emerges out on January 29, and that's when Venus goes direct. When you hear that, then it'll be full-born, rebirthed into the morning. So that's kind of an interesting, I wanted to share a little bit about that. If some of you are not familiar, I talk very late terms, because a lot of people, we don't all know all those crazy terms in astrology. So I like to, just give you little tidbits and to help you understand it and why it's so fascinating, honestly, to me. It's important to note here that Venus doesn't just rule romantic relationships, okay? That's really important to hear. It's about everything, especially your money, your comfort, your wealth, Venus likes the beauty of things, and that's a lot of times related to Taurus too. But it's not just romantic here. It's going to be all the relationships. So don't just think one way here, okay? It could be that, you want the romantic relationship, or there's a new one, or you want the one you have to be better, or whatever. And you might get surprised here in the next month that actually what it's highlighting for you is something completely different. Maybe your habits about money. Do you have healthy habits about money? That would be your relationship to your finances. That would be your relationship to yourself. How are you about yourself? Do you have self-hatred? Do you always give yourself such a hard time? It could bring those things up. So don't ignore if it's drawing that out, because it's important. It's also a very important time for healing. So here's the thing. It brings all these out. So if it's not just about romantic here, it's bringing out and helping you to decide. It's going to bring up and help you decide what is of value to you. That's what you want to look at. That word value. What do you consider valuable? What is of value to you? It will help you sort that out. It will help you understand the value and the worth of the energy that you put into different types of relationships. And is there a value? Is there a return on investment, so to speak? You see? So I'm just really helping you. I want to help you explore this in a kind of different perspective here. When Venus enters retrograde, there's areas that will be highlighted for all of us. You will see and know as your own. You'll be encouraged to rebirth those. You'll be encouraged to change those patterns. You'll be encouraged to take responsibility for relationships. You'll be encouraged to have an attitude shift. My dad used to call them attitude adjustments. Oh yes, he called them attitude adjustments. I remember that. That just popped into my head. What's not supporting you anymore? What, if you have an attitude or a mindset or a belief towards something, if it's not supporting or working anymore, why are you there still? It'll bring it up. And remember, Capricorn being involved here, that's making things serious and taking responsibility for. It's your responsibility to change it if it's not working for you. That's kind of how Capricorn comes through as an energy, and you're thinking, wait, what? And this isn't a blame. There isn't any blame on anything. It's about helping you find a way to make it better. Every day, striving to not be perfect, but to make it better, or to make a shift, or make a slight change here and there. When we do it that way, it's not so overwhelming when something comes crashing down and we have to make major big shifts. It's a little easier. You're doing a little shifting as you go. I find that easier personally, and not everything is that way, but I like to do it that way. I prefer to do it that way. So here you're looking at attitudes, relationships, mindset, belief on anything that's not working anymore, and what you can do to change that. That would be your rebirth. So it will, as Venus goes into this retrograde, it's going to point out the weak spots. I know. So you might see a flare here and there. You might see a conflict of interest. You might see different things popping up because it's going to make the weak spots highlighted. It's going to bring them to the surface so they can be challenged. They can make you think. How are you reacting? How are you responding? What can you do to make it better? Not always somebody else's fault, but if it's toxic or not good for you, why are you still there? It'll bring all that up. It's really going to give us this awareness that how we're choosing to show up in this relationship, whichever one it is. What are we choosing? So say it's about the finance or, things like that, or the responsibility of making good decisions that way. Are you saving? Are you spending beyond your means, or are you doing well? That kind of thing. Let's just look at it that way, just so we can see that there's different perspectives here. How are you choosing to show up? Is this still working for you? Maybe that needs changing. Maybe there's a relationship, romantic, that's you don't want it to end, but you want it to be better. Well, how are you showing up? How are you showing up? Because sometimes we're reflecting back on each other, and we need to hear that. We need to hear, wait a minute. My frustration, sometimes it just keeps going back and forth and bouncing. That's just an example. So Venus can also, in a retrograde, bring up issues relating to health. Just so you know, are you being healthy? Are you in that relationship with your health and your self-care? Are you making good decisions? So yeah, it's not leaving any stone unturned, right? It will bring in what's closely linked to your heart and your emotions, okay? It will bring in how are they manifesting on a physical level. So emotions, stress, healing, letting things go, being willing to look beyond. Because remember, Jupiter has some expansion going on here. So you want to know that there's possibilities. We don't just get thrown this big hot potato here from the universe and they go, okay, figure it out, sort it out. Yeah, they are throwing the hot potato, but they also bring a lot of support in every single time. I haven't seen where they haven't. The universe is the angels, everything that supports us. We always have these options, but are we willing to look at them? Are we willing to change our mindset to something? So this is all going to be propping up. So then you have the energies may show up differently for everybody, but the core, the main theme will be what's of value to you. How are you choosing to show up? Are you taking responsibility in that area of life? That's how it's going to show up. We're all being challenged here to open our hearts. Have you closed it off? Have you closed it off to where you don't want, I think I hear lawnmowers again. We might hear that. I heard my dog. Yeah, she lets me know. But if you're being challenged to open your heart to what? Willing to maybe show up for yourself better? Take care of yourself better? How are we being challenged to open our heart? Open our heart. Are we afraid we're going to get hurt if we go there? And a lot of people do close their hearts off. They seal them tight. And nope, they protect. It's kind of a defensive mechanism. And we close down and we protect our heart so we don't get hurt again. But we're missing everything too when we do that. Being afraid we'll get hurt again, we don't give ourselves an opportunity to let it back in. Because some people are, and I've seen this too, they're so frustrated, they want to feel more of a love in their life. They want to feel that they are worthy of it, but they won't let that part down so you can give and receive. Love is designed, unconditional love. I'm not just being specific to romantic here, but it all is inclusive here. It's supposed to flow freely. It flows in and out, not just one way. Not just, okay, I'm going to keep my heart sealed off, but I do want that relationship. And then you don't trust anything when it does, things like that. We don't trust to change things for ourselves. We don't feel valuable enough. If it's bringing up highlights on how we take care of ourselves, our mindset, do we eat healthy? Do we, take care of our physical bodies and keep them healthy? Things like that. Are we being responsible, or do we feel worthy? Do we value that? Are we giving ourselves value? Remember, one of the biggest things here is we have to have self-worth to be able to give love. If you have to be able to give that love from a self-worthy, like I deserve it. I'm taking good care of myself. I'm bringing to the table a good participant in this relationship, whichever one it is that we're talking about here. We can't do that unless we value who we are and what we can bring. And so many people that's what gets pushed back to the burner. I've done it too. When I say that, I think we've all kind of experienced that in some way here, and it's part of some of the bigger lessons. Some more for others, but that's what happens. So if we're being challenged to open our hearts, find that deeper love, that greater love. Find and strengthen the relationships that we do have, the existing ones, if you want them to stay, if you want to keep that one. Make the financial or the relationship with money healthier if you need to. Then the abundance, you see, it all ties together. It's a flow. It's a flow. We have to be participants when we want things to change. And it's not just with money and other things that we value. It's with everything in relationships. Respecting respecting yourself, respecting and listening in a relationship. It's not just, it's your fault, you're doing this to me kind of thing. No. So I want to bring up, and then I'll be done here in a sec. I want to bring up the tips too, but we're going to go into some key dates that are stronger energy than others. So I do want to bring that up. Capricorn, for one, is a very earthy, grounded, practical energy. So it's going to bring this requirement, so to speak. It'll feel like, no, this needs to be, practical. It needs to be logical. It needs to make sense. You'll feel that a little bit. You'll feel like, I need to make a grown-up decision kind of thing is what it reminds me of. I need to take it seriously and be responsible. That would be that part that I'm talking about. Because Venus rules over money, it's a place here, and we have this opportunity for it to shine a light on the relationship with abundance and even inspire and create a new way of bringing income in, a new way of doing something. Because Venus and Pluto together, that's a positive energy combination. You have opportunities here. So there's a lot of good stuff here going on. It's not just, we're going to go through that tough emotional stuff. No, there's good things here too. That's your heart, for one, is a very, it's an incredible powerhouse of energy. It's where you store your life passions. It's where you store what you love, your feelings about things, why you're here, your soul purpose. It's like this amazing brain. It has this amazing energy. So it's a big deal. That's why the heart chakra is coming into light here with this. So you have a strong Capricorn energy that means take responsibility for yourself, your actions, things like that, and the energy that you put out into the world, because we're all responsible for the energy that we put out there. Yeah, really, if you really think about it, your words are so powerful. Every time you utter a word, you're putting energy out there. Make those words count for positive. Make those words count for something beneficial for you and for everyone else. So that's a big deal, because when we complain about something, that's energy too, not the one we're trying to go for here. But, that's a lower negative energy, and we all do it. It's not that we're being perfect. You don't want to feel bad when you do. I'm saying put some effort in to improve things like that. Because you're going to have an emotion sometimes that makes you angry. You're going to blurt out something. It's just taking responsibility for what happened, you know, that kind of thing. So if we take full ownership of all of our relationships here, and we're looking to better it, how are we spending our time? It is going to have us reevaluate that. Look at our time, how we spend it. Am I spending it and it's valuable and it's worth putting my effort more there or less there? That'll come up. That'll come up. So let's look at a couple of dates that have the strength, okay? And then we'll go into some tips. Then I'm going to go over to the chat. So I'm going to keep going. All right. So it's going to enter the shadow. It entered the shadow phase back in November 1718. That's when it started to slow down, to go backwards. It'll actually station on December 19th into retrograde. That's the date. Okay, that's a power day for the energy in Venus. That's when the energies will feel strong. You might start to feel the stirrings, or you know, the things that are coming up for you. You may or may not, but you might. That's about when you'll start to feel it, because it's a stronger energy day. Because it rules over the heart space, you might feel or experience things that stir the heart chakra. You might feel this urge to open it up, you know, and explore your feelings about things like that, and your emotions, and just those things that are heart-centered. January 8th, okay? January 8th, we're now into 2022, so this retrograde's taking us into the new year. This is when Venus aligns with the Sun. Now, what does that mean? Okay? Venus isn't visible yet in the morning here. Not yet. That'll be more at the end of the month. But this is when the first moments begin to emerge as the morning star, as the new. So it's starting to explore these new feelings. So this starts to signify the rebirthing process here. And we might feel that. We might feel like we're new at everything we're doing, or we want to try everything new. And we're going to start feeling this a little bit more. We might start to see the seeds of where we want to go and what we want to do with this energy. We might start to see something sprouting, something coming into light, how we want to work through a relationship thing, improve it, whatever, let go of it. You might start to see, and this is on January 8th, 9th, wherever you are in the world. That's where you might start to see options and clarity start to roll in. So that's a good date to keep in mind. January 29th, that's the end of the month. That's when it stations direct and starts to move forward again, and it is now rebirthed. Okay, so now it's emerged. Now it's ready to take on a brand new chapter of everything. It's ready for the new energy. It will filter through you, you know, that kind of thing. It's like it's ready. You're ready to move forward. This is very symbolic, what I'm talking about. Astrologically, it puts these meanings out. It's up to us to take that responsibility to apply them to our lives. So when we feel like we've been reborn and there's brand new everything going on, things start to become clearer to us. You will start to see, this is what needed to unfold. This is what's coming into my awareness, that kind of thing. So that's what you'll see. So you'll see and then it goes all the way into March 2nd here. And that's when it finally is moving out of that shadow phase that it started in November. Okay, so it's moving out, and that's the last part of that. So Venus does not rush. She's moving in slow, hanging out, lingering, and moving on then. So, and it won't happen again. This opportunity to completely reset, recharge, realign, rebalance with our heart-centered choices. It happens every 18 months. You can work on it every day, but this is like a big powerhouse. Let's do a reboot. Let's do a powerhouse clean. Let's change it up. So it's an opportunity to work with the energies here to get yourself on track of where you want to be rolling into a new year. And I love that, because when you look at this, you have all these different things that'll bring light to different parts of our lives that we can do something about. So let's look at some tips, okay? Let's look at some tips that we can do to help balance, And first I want to go over some signs when it is out of balance. So if you have a notebook, you can write it down or save this for the archive. You might want to make note of the time. That way you can scroll to that part. Heart chakra, when it's out of balance, it will usually show up for you in these different ways. A sense of being emotionally cut off, or feeling the need to push people away, or others away, or things away. That's one of the ones that'll show up. This is when it's out of balance. This is when you're closing it off. So this is what we need to know. So you apply that for whether that works for you or not. Another one is the inability, or you can't seem to receive abundance, support, or help from anybody. Wow, that one kind of nailed a lot of things, didn't it? So if you have the inability to receive abundance or help or support from someone else, why is that? That's another sign the heart chakra is out of balance. Another one would be critical of yourself and others. Overly critical. Feel like, oh man, okay. Complaining a lot here. Look at that. Blaming somebody else or feeling like you're better than everybody else. I know. Yeah, this is if the heart chakra is out of balance. You may not even relate to any of this. Pushing others away because your fear of rejection or being hurt. Yeah, there's that one. Being out of touch with your emotional state of mind. Just tuning it out, avoiding it, all that. Losing trust in just about everything. Humanity, the world. So I see that as that could be almost all of us feeling that right now across the globe with everything we've been through in the last couple of years. I know. So feeling withdrawn or isolated from everyone. Now being to yourself is very different from feeling isolated or withdrawn. For example, I do a lot of my work solo, but I don't feel alone or isolated. It's different, I'm in my space of working, but I'm also out with other people. But, and then you're having to be careful right now. So this one's kind of going to affect, a lot of us because of the situation we've all been in. Feeling like you've lost your excitement for your passions or life. It could come across as you just have sadness. That's another one. You have the hatred or the hatred for others. Self-hatred or hatred for others. Ooh, yeah. Well, that's not really coming from a place of love, is it? Feeling overrun with fears and anxiety. You're just making decisions from that. If you're making decisions from all of that, in a constant state of stress, this is symbolic. These are different signs that the heart chakra could use some balancing and love here. So because when we're balancing our chakras, it helps them to process all of these things we're going through. Okay, so if any of those areas are resonating with you, there's a good chance you could, it would be worth your while to spend some time rebalancing your heart chakra and clearing out old stagnant energy. It happens. We have to do it, especially when we're all going through so much. And some of us, it's pretty much across the globe, everybody's kind of feeling some of it, and then some no. So let's go over some ways that you can balance this and feel empowered that you can do something about working with your heart chakra to keep it more balanced. Now, first off, you want to take care of your needs. You really need to look at what do you want for yourself. It's really important. Sometimes it could just be to get along with others, or fall into, and not feel like you have to fall into peer pressure, and just, look at that. You've got to look at what you really want. Things like that. How are you responding and interacting? And it's just easier, I don't want to go there because I don't want to people please. And then when you are in it, you still do the people pleasing. So got that kind of thing. But getting along, but still standing up for what's right for you is a big deal here. And so this could take some work. There's a little work here with the heart chakra. Really taking time to ask yourself what you really truly want. And then start working on that, strengthening those intentions for what you truly want. That's number one. I mean, if you have to sit down and ask yourself some questions, if you really have to sit down and work with this, if you were to look at a good affirmation about all your needs are taken care of, even if you don't believe that yet, just claiming it to work with, my needs are taken care of. I want them, and you'll feel whether you believe that or not. And if it's fear that no, they're not, then you'll know you're working in that. Letting go of the blame is another one, big one. Letting go of blame. The heart chakra can really be blocked when it's blaming and projecting all of that out. Okay? Because there's things that happen. There's bad things that happen to good people. I know that. But we have to come from a place where we're not blaming and just sending out, because that's not actually resolving or healing. That's expressing all of that. That's a different phase. And I'm not saying you don't have reasons for some of it, but we're trying to heal your heart chakra here. So that's why we want to look at what can do that. And that's releasing and not feeling the pain of all of that anymore. And, if everything was, happening to you and you felt like reflecting and you felt like this is mirroring back, or you always feel like a victim, or you always feel like, no, I need to take my power back, my emotions, it's like I need to find a way to feel in control, things like that. If you don't look at this part of it, you're kind of missing some of it. So I wanted you to know that. This is about using affirmations that claim you want to release those blames and hurts. You want to move past them so you can find solutions. Acceptance and forgiveness is a big one of the heart. I know, it's a big one. It's about acceptance of a situation. A situation may have changed for you. And, okay, what can I do to make the most of this kind of thing? How can I find a letting go and forgive if I need to? And, unexpected things happen. Forgiveness is a very powerful healing tool because you're not carrying around the pain anymore. It really never has anything to do with who you're forgiving. It's about not holding the energy of all of that anymore. Probably the best way to explain it, because sometimes forgiveness is really hard. And if you're going through a healing process, I'm not saying you just got to go through all of this instantly and be done with it. These are things to look at and review for yourself. That's what I'm saying. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, do you like that person? Do you love that person in the mirror? How are you about who you see reflecting back to you? Do you like what you see? Do you care about this person? It's important to know how you feel about yourself and to know that you're worthy. That's huge. So you want to make sure you're taking care there. You want to respond to people with compassion, responding with compassion. These are all parts of the heart here. The heart chakra runs on love. It's working at its max capacity in a strong, powerful state when it's filled with love. And love's the energy that we use in energy healing. I mean, I'm not doing the healing. I'm just helping to facilitate that you allow the energy of love to flow through you, to allow it in. And it can be really emotional sometimes if you've had a closed off heart chakra for a while. I've worked with people for years, and sometimes there's a lot of crying because they're just finally releasing and letting it go. Or they're like, whoa, I just wasn't expecting that. And sometimes the first reaction as you start to open up the heart chakra is, whoa, I think I'm going to close that back down. Because I don't know about that. That's your fear of opening it. But it's giving you that indication of what you need to know. Using rose quartz, if you like to work with crystals, is great. Another energy would be the color pink. The color pink is a very gentle color that is, you can use pink flowers. You can use the rose quartz in there just to bring that energy of that color around you, or to think about it, or use pink, wear pink. Pink is just a nice color for that. It's rose quartz crystal is one that's always been used for the heart. A lot of people wear it on a pendant and when they're working with heart chakra stuff and using rose quartz. I like to keep it around, you know, I have different quartz all over the house, but I love it. I have a huge bowl of just rose quartz chunks, you know, like big rough chopped up pieces of the geode form, and I love it. There's just something about the energy of the color. So I wanted you guys to know some of those things. There's another few things I wanted to ask you. These are a few questions that you can ask yourself if you like to journal. This is another way to work with it. So here's some of the questions, okay? How could you claim and be in your power more? Is there a way you could do that more? If you don't feel empowered, how could you claim your power like that? What makes you feel powerful? These are things you can ask yourself. How could you connect more with your heart? Listening to the wisdom of the heart. Listening to what comes from your heart, connected to your spirit and your soul. That's a transition point. That fourth chakra is a major transition point from living in the physical world into the spiritual or your soul. What makes you feel supported? These are things you can ask yourself if you journal, or to question yourself. Do you feel empowered by the relationships you're in right now? Or no? I know. If not, how can you create a balance there? Or what do you need to do? Is it too toxic? Is it abusive? Or is it, no, I could do something different? Because sometimes we just get set to where we close off, and now we're not bringing anything either. So that's something to look at. How can you choose to spend your time from a more heart-centered place? Are you spending your time on things that are valuable to you? What's valuable to you? Are you spending time there, or is it on the back burner? These are questions to ask yourself. Do you know that you are worthy of love? Do you know that you are worthy? And if not, how can you increase that? These are things to ask yourself. Ask yourself what your relationship with money is, or finances. Is it healthy? Do you have a good plan for your finances, or no? Or are you always struggling to backpedal there? You're looking at that. And what does money mean to you? Money is, in metaphysics and spirituality terms, money has an energy. Money is an energy. It's a give and receive energy. When you look at it from law of attraction, the spiritual law of attraction, it has an energy. Is that a balance that you have with that energy? It's a give and a receive. And that you should feel balanced. You should feel like, yeah, this is all good, And if it's not, and none of us are perfect in any of these areas, including me, nobody's perfect here. I'm giving you just as much as what I'm going to work on too, because we all have to look at this. We all have to explore, what could I do different to help improve where I'm going here? So that's some of the things you can do. So let me go over to chat and see how everybody's doing here. Okay, let's see. Journey to becoming me. No more feeling coming with this retrograde. Looks like we can do this. Thank God, our angels and awesome. Well, thank you for that. Thank you. That is, and she gave a beautiful gift back to the show, and we appreciate that. It keeps it supported, and it's amazing. Let's see. I see Venus every evening unless it's cloudy. I know, it's a very bright star. You do see it. You do see it. Has anybody got the app? There's I don't know. There's different apps out there, so I won't name an app because I'm not trying to endorse anything here. But there's apps where you can like see where everything's located if you're learning to find it. But yes, it's very much so. So let's see, Maddie, I've been feeling this retrograde for the last week really strong, doing my best to roll with it and notice what is coming up. It's been tough working on patience to allow changes to unfold. Yeah, that's exactly where you need to be. And like I said, this is a slow moving, it's a slow moving, and see, if it started moving into the shadow in November, you may have been picking it up. Sometimes if we're really sensitive to energy, we'll pick it up sooner. I usually pick it up within 10 days or so of something coming in. And sometimes I don't, but most of the time I do. And then it'll be, you know, going into that shadow all the way to March. You know, it'll shift. So we're getting into the peak of it, all of how we'll feel for the next month or so now. So yes, hang in there. We're all in this together, honestly. Now, how's that for a relationship? See, we have a great relationship here that shows up for Thursdays. I personally want to say kudos to that. It makes me want to give more love and more energy here, because I look forward to coming here and we all lift each other up. Even though I'm putting out the topics and you're seeing me and you guys are chatting, we're doing this together. This is a relationship to me, an important one. And I just wanted to acknowledge that every one of you matter. Let's see. Okay, Belinda's feeling the same thing. Yep. Husband is a Taurus, so negative and verbally mean. Ooh. Well, I'm a Taurus. Hopefully I'm not like that, but I don't think because he's a Taurus he's that way. But, and this is just, I'm asking, I'm thinking maybe stubbornness might be, but sometimes there's pessimism in there, or there's stubbornness, and it can come across. So I'm not saying you're not experiencing that. I'm just going, oh wow, I was kind of surprised to see that it was Taurus. Could be a different aspect of the personality, rising sign or something that's a little bit pushing that. Let's see here. Relationship definitely not working, financially not able to leave. Okay, well here's the thing, Belinda. These are the things that you want to journal and ask or explore with your heart chakra. Okay, how can I feel empowered to do something different? And look for things to unfold, because that is a tough situation to be in. That's a very stressful situation to be in. It sounds like you know what you want to do, you've just got to work out the finance part. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, it sounds like a big dog. A big dog, oh my goodness. Maddie, oh, you guys are talking to each other. Let's see. You're stronger, more capable than you think, and these resources available to help you get out. You don't have to feel trapped. Absolutely. There's a lot. So if I was in a situation, you're looking for, okay, what can I do to start to work this into a different direction? And that's exactly what Maddie was sharing as well. There's a lot out there. Okay? So absolutely. The love of a close friend would be great. We are all friends in here. If you don't feel like you have any, you've got love here, Maddie. And Belinda, sorry. Belinda, you guys have it here. You absolutely do, and I hope you know that. And Maddie is relating, and I appreciate what Maddie is doing here, because she gets it. She gets it. She's been with us for a bit, and she knows she's been through some tough bumps. I've been through them. I have too. And I am not one to sway one opinion or the other. I want you guys in this to explore. So it's empowering to know, wait, this isn't coming from outside of me. This is truly how I feel about it, and truly what I want to do and how I want to change it. And it will. When and it's just a matter of processing it, what will work for you. Because I truly believe there's always an opportunity for something to shift, and it can shift big. It can shift unexpected. So I'm putting out that love for you to find and open a way to see the opportunities that might come in for you, Belinda, to help shift this for you so you can make a change that you want to make. Let's see. January 26th birthday, starting a new birth year. There you go. Crystals. Okay, yeah, work with them. Work with them if you love them. Get that. Do you have the rose quartz? That one represents love. And every time, you know, just reminding yourself that, yeah, I'm valuable. I'm worthy of love. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I've seen all of these people that show up on a regular basis here. Maddie, let's see, who else? Oh, Journey to Becoming Me, you know, going through the toughest things. So Belinda, you are in good company with people that have gone through some tough shifting transitions, including myself. Yeah, you have no idea. But and that's okay. I don't need to like keep going through them over and over again. I'm here to help get you guys lifted out so you don't feel stuck in them all the time. And there is possibilities. There is a lot of possibilities. And sometimes they just land in your lap, and sometimes I've got to put my intention out there that I do want something else to come in. So it will. Yeah. Relaxing meditations. I'm not going through every single thing you mentioned. It's so hard for me, but I'm doing my best to keep my head above the water. I understand that. Totally do. When we're working with the heart chakra, and I want to do that for a minute. We want to do let's do some meditation where we send energy. And let's work with some energy healing here. We're going to do that. I'm going to do that in just a moment. I just want you guys to know the heart chakra you can feel that one, and sometimes you're like, whoa, that's a lot, and so you back off, and you absolutely, because you're working with a Venus that likes to take its time and go slower. We can work this a little at a time. You don't have to completely overwhelm yourself and get in over your head. And if you need support, you know you've got it here. You know you've got it here, and you also. You know where my website is, guys, okay? You know how to reach me over there, but I want you to know you're not by yourself. You're not. You have people that will understand here. I have me. I understand. I know that it's hard to go through something like that, but emotions with the heart chakra can sometimes overwhelm if it's really coming out a lot. But we have to allow ourselves to process it some way. So sometimes we use a little at a time, or we do a little bit. Some of the things that can help a lot if you're going through a real stressful time is, what are you doing to handle the stress? Do you have some sort of outlet? There's different ways you can do that. Make sure meditation is one of the best ways to process energy. Taking a walk, doing something physically active. For me, I like to paint. I like to paint and get lost in it. You know, that's probably been one of the things that's been my saving grace. I'm trying to do more of it because I feel like in a transition a lot right now. But you know, when you go through and you find what works for you. I mean, I go in the kitchen and bake bread. I love to bake bread. I like to, you know, do things like that. I mean, I just get lost in something where this is something I want to do. So when we're working to feel empowered, one of the best and simplest ways you can start is find something you really, really want to do. Whether it's baking bread, coloring books, I don't care. It don't matter. It matters what you really want to do. What do you really want to do? And spend time in it. Get lost in it. Get lost in it. It's an active meditation type of thing. You're putting that energy into something that you truly want. And that opens up your life to have more of what you truly want. It might be something different that you truly want. It might be a lot of things you want. Like you may want money to be better, but going and doing something else, whether it's, you know, art or music or whatever it is you want to do, something creative usually is a pretty good way to do it. Journaling, reading a book. Something, what can you immerse yourself in that you just absolutely love to do and you look forward to getting to it? You want to try to make that a priority in your life. It really helps to open the doors and start to shift things. That will start the wheel of motion into manifesting something better for you. I don't care who you are. I do it all the time. It does work. It does work. It might be that you're just trying to find a way to take care of yourself. Find a new source of income. But do what you love, because everything is going to be tied to what your passions are, which are heart-centered. They're heart-centered. Okay, oh good, you did start coloring again. I love that. Yeah, okay, wear that rose quartz necklace, absolutely. And clearing your energy. Don't forget now, if you're having trouble clearing energy off, you can use the salt bath method, or in the shower using the salts. Sea salts, or I like Himalayan. You can use baking soda and salt together. You know, you can do different things like that. That helps kind of pull, it just relaxes and helps you get it off. If you don't have a bathtub, use a shower with a container of it to pour over you. But you can do these. I mean, there's a conduit here. It's kind of scientific, actually. You know, your skin and the water, it's conduit. It just kind of pulls the energy that's just, you're holding this energy all over, everywhere. I think it's in the myofascia layer that's underneath the skin, because that's where I would always see it so tight on people when I was doing NMT work. And then when I would release it, all this stuff would flow off. Emotions and memories and you name it. And they would go, oh my gosh, I don't know why I just said that. Things like that would happen. It really started me exploring, like, there's something going on here. The body was holding all this consciousness all over the entire body to me. That was something I experienced constantly when I was doing that type of work. Okay, so let's do this. Let's take a minute and just go there. Let's go there. I want everybody to close your eyes. Close your eyes if you can. Okay? I mean, most people, if you're on the YouTube channel, you're not driving, I hope. But anyway, let's close our eyes. If you're listening on the archive, close your eyes when you can, when it's safe, all that. All those disclosures, right? And just slow your breathing down and breathe. Just breathe. And I want you to bring your focus to the center. Your heart, your physical heart, sits over to the left a little bit. Your heart chakra is right in the center, right beside it, right beside it in the center of your chest. I want you to bring your focus there. And I want you to go to a place in your mind, even if you're not a creative visualization person. Let's give it a try. I want you to imagine if you were this tiny little person that could go inside of you and explore your heart chakra. Just think like imaginary. You could go inside and you could actually see it. What's the first thing you're seeing? Are you seeing movement? Are you seeing, what color are you seeing? Jot these down for yourself. Jot them down. Take note of that first image that you're seeing. Is it dark? Is it moving? Is it cloudy? Is it bright? Is it red? Is it black? I mean, what do you see? Everybody might see something different. And then what we're going to do is we're going to clear it out. We're going to ask Archangel Metatron to come in and help us out. It's a very powerful angel to work with clearing energy. So we're going to work with Metatron here. And I want you to think about it moving. Most chakras are moving clockwise, okay? But I want you to work counterclockwise for a minute, because we're going to untangle. It's kind of like unspin it to dislodge anything that might be stuck. And Metatron is bringing in the energy of love, unconditional love, and just let it come through your crown chakra and flow down and through to your heart chakra. You know, ultimately you want to do all of your chakras, but I'm bringing a focus to this heart chakra, so include this part into a whole chakra clearing so they're all balanced when you have time. Bring it in and bring it to that center where you see that visual that you see of your heart chakra, and let that love energy just surround it, flow, embed into it, flow through that hard shell that might be on the outside, that darkness that might be there. the sludge or the cloudy or the brown or the confusion. Just let it go through and let it go all the way into the center and let it infuse. Let it in. Maybe there's a tiny little crack somewhere. That's all we need. You just need this little spot where you can let the light in. That's where your healing can come from. Let it in. Let it just fill it up. And then I want you to take the spin clockwise and imagine it rotating. And you might find that you have to try to move it. It's not quite moving. It won't, it's like it's stuck or rusted shut, you know? Keep going, don't give up. You may have to do this a few times before you actually get movement if it's really been closed off. But this is a very powerful way to clear a chakra. You can do this energy that I'm talking about with Metatron if you want, through every single chakra that might be stuck. I really highly recommend you go through each and every one, starting here, let it go all the way down to the first chakra, go to the second, do this with each one. And you're going to visualize what you're seeing at each one. But this heart chakra with emotions, it can be scary. Let it spin clockwise with this energy inside, because unconditional love is safe, it's nurturing, it's high frequency, and especially the heart chakra loves to be filled up with love. It's the heart chakra. It's your heart, it's your passions. It wants to be full of love. And just let it just immerse in this. And whenever you're feeling that you are having a tough day or you're closing off or going back in the other direction, stop and give yourself 5 minutes of this amazing heart chakra elixir. But don't forget about the other chakras. It is important that they're all balanced. It is important. And usually if you have that closed off of a heart, or you feel, like you need to clear it, usually there's other ones involved. It could be the second or the first. For example, if your heart chakra is closed off and it has to do with money, you might want to look at the first and second chakra as well. Things like that. So just know it could be it's connected to the fifth chakra. It could be the third and the fourth. Just know balancing them all is important. But I wanted to explore how you could do this with the heart chakra. And this is energy healing, people. This is energy healing that you're empowered to do for yourself. You don't need anybody else to do this with you. You can do this. It's very powerful. It's very eye-opening. It can feel like, I got to do this a few times, and you just start working on it. But it's worth it. Even if you gave it 5 or 10 minutes a day. Just go for it. And then the opportunities with love resonating from your heart, you might find that you want to choose differently. And you won't be afraid to, because where love is, there's no fear. There's no anxiety. You're not afraid to make choices. You're going to be more aligned with your soul, your soul purpose, every reason why you're here. So I hope that you will take that and give it some time to work with it and explore the different things that could be coming up for you in this Venus retrograde. And I wish each and every one of you a beautiful, beautiful holiday season time here. We're going to be gone for 2 weeks for the holiday to spend time with our families. So I want you guys to know that we will be back in a couple of weeks in January. First week in January, we will be back with a live show. Please take care of yourself. You are all worthy, and I love each and every one of you. And I want to say thank you for being on this journey with me over the last years. We are going to continue on, and guess what? We start season 12 in January. Thanks so much. I love you all. Take good care of yourself and know you're worthy. Namaste.
You've been listening to The Jenn Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life. Dr. Jenn Royster is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Imagine having the ability to use your innate positive energy to dissolve the stuckness in your life, whether it's emotional, physical, or spiritual, through this incredible dynamic show. If you've missed any part of this show or any other show, visit